Congratulations! You are not reading this by chance. Heaven had to rearrange time itself to bring you here at this exact moment. God says, today will be a very surprising day of your life because something you have been waiting for, praying for, or even secretly hoping for, is about to happen. And yet, He warns you with urgency, if you open this now, the blessing will be released into your life, but if you ignore it or delay, you will lose all your money, your opportunity, and the divine setup He has prepared for you. This is not an empty threat. This is a spiritual reality. You know when the atmosphere feels different, when you sense something big is shifting but you can't put it into words? That's what's happening right now in your life. The air in the spirit realm is thick with movement. Angels have been dispatched around you in the last 24 hours. Archangel Michael himself is standing guard to make sure this moment reaches you without interference. There have been delays, blockages, and diversions over the past months, but God says those delays were not denials, they were divine preparation. Because what is about to happen today is so unexpected, so surprising, that if it had come any sooner, you might not have been ready to handle it. Do you remember the times you prayed and felt like the heavens were silent? The days when you checked your account and saw nothing but lack? The nights when you sat in silence wondering if you were forgotten? You were not forgotten. Every tear, every prayer, every whisper of, "God, please, I need you," was recorded in His book. And today, that book is being opened. The seal is breaking. The chapter where your name is tied to lack is being closed forever. This is not the day of loss, it is the day of sudden overflow. But here's the thing, overflow only flows where there is openness. If you close your spirit now, if you treat this as nothing, the current will shift, and you may watch your blessing pass you by. God says, there is an amount of wealth that has been circling your life for years, waiting for the right spiritual key to unlock it. It's not just money, it's inheritance, investments, land rights, opportunities, partnerships, divine connections. You may not even know some of these exist yet. But they do. And they have your name on them. There has been a legal battle over your name in the courts of heaven. The enemy tried to present evidence against you, reasons why you should not receive it. He used your past mistakes, your failures, your moments of doubt, as proof. But God stood up and said, "No. My child is redeemed. My child is covered. My child has been faithful." And in that moment, the angels began preparing your release. That release is timed for today. Not tomorrow. Not next month. Today. And God says, if you open this now, you align with the blessing. If you ignore it, you allow the enemy to reroute it. There is a woman who has been watching your finances. She knows more about your situation than you think. She is not a friend. She has been quietly manipulating circumstances to make you feel like you're constantly short, constantly struggling, constantly in need. She has smiled to your face but has sown seeds of scarcity in the spirit. And yet, God says, finally, I am exposing her. Her plans to drain you financially are about to be destroyed. Her influence is about to be removed. She will not hold your money hostage any longer. This is why today's release is so important. Because the removal of her grip is the very thing that will open the floodgates. You have been thinking about certain decisions, whether to invest, whether to say yes to an offer, whether to take a risk. You've been hesitating because of fear. Fear of losing. Fear of making the wrong choice. But God says, today is not a day to hesitate. Today is a day to listen to the voice of the Spirit and act. Because the blessing coming is time-sensitive. Heaven has windows, and when they open, miracles pour through. But windows do not stay open forever. The Spirit of God says, move while the waters are stirred. Do not wait for a better time. The better time is now. You are entering a prophetic moment. Prophetic moments are rare. They are intersections between time and eternity where what is spoken instantly becomes reality. That's why he says, open this now. Not because he wants to scare you, but because he knows what's coming if you don't. The enemy has a counterplan. If you delay, the enemy will try to send an emergency that drains your finances. Unexpected bills, sudden repairs, false debts, these are the traps he is preparing. But if you align now, those traps will collapse before they even touch you. Your life has been in preparation mode for too long. You have learned the lessons. You have passed the tests. You have endured the fire. And now, it's time to collect. God says, today will surprise you. The call will come. The message will arrive. The opportunity will knock. And it may not look like the answer at first, but your spirit will recognize it. That's why you must keep your heart open. Heaven is releasing financial multiplication. Not just addition. Multiplication. You will begin to see resources come from multiple directions, sources you forgot about, people you never expected, and even strangers. You will be reminded of something you did long ago, something you gave, some seed you planted. And suddenly, the harvest will appear. But remember, God is a God of order. He gives seed to the sower. If you have been faithful with little, He will make you ruler over much. This blessing is not just for you, it is for your children, your legacy, your future. Do not take this lightly. The moment you read this, a transaction is taking place in the Spirit. Angels are recording your response. Will you align with faith or with fear? Will you step into the surprising blessing or miss it because you delayed? This is why Archangel Michael has been so insistent. He has fought battles over your money. He has defended your harvest. He has kept thieves away from your doors. And now He is standing at your side, saying, "It's time. Do it now." You will begin to feel a stirring today. Your phone might ring unexpectedly. You may see a message that makes your heart race. You might overhear a conversation that suddenly gives you an idea. Pay attention. These are not random. They are signs that the release has begun. God says, "Do not dismiss small beginnings." What starts small today will grow beyond what you imagined. This surprising day is not just about money, it's about restoration. You will regain confidence. You will regain joy. You will regain authority over your own life. The chains of dependence on others are breaking. The feeling of constantly needing help is leaving you. God is replacing it with strength, wisdom, and provision. You will no longer beg for what is already yours. But here is the serious warning: if you ignore this moment, you will see financial leaks. Things will break. Promises will be withdrawn. Opportunities will disappear. This is not meant to scare you, it's meant to make you aware of the reality of spiritual timing. God is merciful, but He is also strategic. He opens doors for those who are ready to walk through them. Are you ready? There is a reason this message found you now. You have been sensing change. You've had dreams lately that felt intense, symbolic, even strange. Those dreams were prophetic. They were previews of what's coming. Some of them showed water, overflow, abundance. Some showed keys, access to things you've been locked out of. And some showed you standing in front of doors, opportunity. All of them were pointing to this very moment. Today will mark you. You will remember it as the day the tide turned. As the day you moved from waiting to receiving. As the day your finances began to flow without constant struggle. You will be able to look back and say, that was the day everything changed. Heaven is rejoicing already. Angels are preparing your table. God has written your name on the guest list for a feast of abundance. But you must choose to sit at the table. If you walk away, the seat will remain empty. If you stay, you will eat until you are full. Congratulations, child of God. The surprise is already on its way. It will not be delayed. It will not be stolen. It will not be shared with those who plotted against you. It belongs to you. And the moment you align with it in faith, it will appear. Today will be the day you talk about for years to come. The day heaven smiled on your finances. The day God's hand moved in your favor. The day the struggle broke. The day you opened the message and chose to believe. This is your time. This is your sign. Open the door now, before it closes. The blessing is ready. Heaven is watching. And the choice is in your hands. When the 3 hours pass, the spiritual atmosphere around you will shift so sharply that even your body will feel it. You might wake from a sudden dream, get an unexpected call, or find your mind pulled into a thought you weren't planning to have. That will be heaven marking the transition point, the exact second the trap she set was meant to spring. But because you obeyed, because you listened to the warning, the snare will close on emptiness instead of on you. And in that moment, you will understand why God fought so hard to reach you before time was up. The woman will feel the absence. She will sense the failed attempt. She will notice that her carefully woven net didn't catch the soul she targeted. And in that moment, she will become restless. She may reach out with sudden warmth. She may confess something half-true to regain your trust. She may use flattery. But you must remember, heaven already exposed her. What you feel now is not obligation, it's clarity. The light of exposure burns away false attachments, and though it's uncomfortable, it's holy. God will start showing you patterns you missed before. A strange comment she made months ago. A story that didn't add up. A conversation you overheard but brushed aside. All these moments will come back, lining up like puzzle pieces that suddenly form a perfect picture. You will see not just what she tried to do, but how long she has been preparing for it. And that revelation will be your shield. Once you see truth clearly, you cannot unsee it. Once you recognize the pattern of deception, you cannot fall for it again. In the hours and days after, expect certain signs of heaven's intervention. Relationships around you will begin to rearrange. People you didn't expect will reach out, offering genuine help. Opportunities will reopen that had mysteriously closed. And your mind will feel lighter, as if a weight you didn't even know you were carrying has been lifted. That is the absence of her influence. That is what happens when a spiritual parasite is detached from your life. The difference will be so striking that you may wonder how you tolerated her presence for so long. Archangel Michael will remain near you during this period. His role now shifts from immediate protection to reinforcement, strengthening your discernment so you never again walk blindly into a trap. You may feel a sudden boldness when you speak, a new authority when you pray, and a sharper awareness in conversations. That's not paranoia. That's heaven upgrading your spiritual senses. What once took you months to realize about someone will now be revealed in days. You will start recognizing counterfeits before they even introduce themselves fully. The woman's exposure will not just protect you, it will liberate others. Because she has woven her deception into multiple lives, and once she loses her grip on you, her influence will weaken elsewhere. People who were under her charm will begin questioning her motives. They will start noticing the cracks in her facade. They will see the same inconsistencies you've now seen. And some of them will come to you quietly, saying, "I don't know why, but something feels off about her." This is your chance to confirm the truth without gossip, to simply state, "I trust what God is showing me, and I'm moving accordingly." Your obedience will trigger a chain reaction. The trap was never just about you. It was about a web of entanglements designed to slow multiple destinies. The enemy knew that by catching you, he could delay others connected to your purpose. That's why your escape matters so much. You didn't just save yourself, you broke the chain for many others. As you continue walking forward, you will notice that God replaces every false attachment with something genuine. A real friend will appear where the counterfeit one stood. A true opportunity will open where the fake one tried to distract you. The love you've been seeking, the respect you've been longing for, the peace you've been praying for, they will start showing up without manipulation, without mind games, without you having to second-guess motives. This is the beauty of divine timing. When God removes what was never yours, He makes room for what always was. And when you think of her again, because you will, remember this: she wasn't just a person who hurt you. She was an assignment. An assignment designed to exhaust you before your breakthrough. But she failed. And now she has been exposed. She will not have access to the new you. The trap has closed. The hour has passed. You are free. And heaven is smiling because you listened when it mattered most. When the clock struck the final second of those 3 hours, heaven did not blink. Archangel Michael did not lower his sword. The moment the appointed time passed, the spiritual atmosphere around you shifted like a door being shut behind you. You may not have felt it in the natural at first, but in the unseen realm, something irreversible happened. The trap that had been laid for you was triggered, but not in the way the enemy intended. Instead of you stepping into it, God Himself stepped into the space ahead of you and dismantled it piece by piece. What was meant to ensnare you became a snare for the one who set it. This woman, the one who had studied your life, mimicked your light, and planned her moment to take a piece of your destiny, found herself standing in the very net she wove for you. Her own words became evidence against her. Her alliances began to crumble. Those she counted on to cover her schemes began to distance themselves without warning. She didn't see it coming because she believed the illusion she built for herself. But God will not allow a counterfeit to sit in the seat of the chosen. You are anointed, and the anointing on your life acts like fire to anything unholy trying to attach itself to you. What's remarkable is that you were so close, closer than you even realized, to walking into an irreversible entanglement. Had you entered the trap, your focus would have been split, your peace fractured, your time stolen. But heaven would not allow the enemy to tie your future to her agenda. This is not because you are flawless, but because you are called. There are souls attached to your obedience. There are breakthroughs waiting on your clarity. God couldn't let you be tangled because too many others are waiting for what you carry. Now that she has been exposed, you may begin to notice subtle signs of the unraveling. She might reach out with a sudden, desperate sweetness. She might try to plant doubt about others so that you'll lean on her again. She might even frame herself as the victim, hoping guilt will draw you back into her influence. But do not be deceived by the aftershocks. Once a mask has fallen, it can never truly be put back on. When light exposes darkness, the shadow cannot pretend to be light again without looking hollow. Heaven says you must now step carefully but confidently. The exposure has given you authority. You have seen behind the curtain, and that changes how you move. You no longer owe access to anyone simply because they ask for it. You no longer have to prove your loyalty by ignoring your discernment. The season of second-guessing your intuition is over. God's voice within you has been amplified, and Archangel Michael is still stationed at your side, guarding the new territory you are stepping into. And here's something you may not expect: the trap was not only meant to derail you, it was also meant to delay your next blessing. The enemy knew that if he could keep you tied up in confusion and counterfeit relationships, he could keep you from being positioned for the divine appointment set to arrive now. But because you listened, the space is clear. The appointment stands. You will see sudden openings, unexpected invitations, and resources that seem to come out of nowhere. This is not luck. This is alignment restored. God says, "I will repay you for the time they tried to steal. I will double what they hoped to divide. I will turn the tables so completely that the one who set the trap will have no choice but to watch your rise." And he means every word. What the enemy wanted to use as a snare will now be a stepping stone. This woman's failed plan will become part of your testimony. You will tell it not with bitterness, but with gratitude, because you will see clearly how God's hand moved to protect you. The next days and weeks will reveal more than you've seen so far. More masks will fall. More hidden motives will surface. More conversations that were held in secret will be brought to your ears. Do not react in fear or anger. Stand in the calm strength of someone who knows they are backed by heaven. The exposure is not for your destruction, it is for your deliverance. God is not just removing this woman from your path. He is removing the pattern she represented. This is the deeper work. Without this moment, the same type of spirit could have found a new face, a new voice, a new way to reach you. But this time the cycle is breaking. This time you are not just escaping one trap, you are being freed from the snaremaker's blueprint entirely. Finally, and hear this clearly, you were not late. You were not foolish for almost trusting her. You are not weak for wanting to see the good in someone. That heart is the very reason God fights so fiercely for you. But now your kindness will be paired with wisdom. Your compassion will be guarded by clarity. And your trust will be anchored in discernment, not appearances. The chapter where you nearly fell into her net is over. The chapter where you rise, unbound and unhindered, has begun. The enemy lost this round, and you gained a victory that will echo into your future. The woman's trap is broken. Her cover is gone. And you are walking forward with your head high, your spirit strong, and heaven's light all around you. 3 hours were all you had. You used them well. When the 3 hours passed, heaven was not silent. The moment the divine clock struck, there was a shift in the spirit. You didn't see fireworks in the sky, but the angels did. You didn't hear the sound, but the heavens shook. The trap she set had reached its point of activation, and in that instant, God moved to shield you from what you didn't even fully understand. You may have felt a sudden heaviness, a strange calm, or even a burst of energy you couldn't explain. That was the moment the spiritual net she had woven began to close, but instead of it catching you, it turned back toward the one who made it. For the word says that the pit the enemy digs will be the one they themselves fall into, and the snare they set will snap upon their own foot. This is what happened in that moment. The snare she set with her words, her alliances, her manipulation, God reversed it. You see, she had been preparing for weeks. If you believe in God, type Amen. Mere coincidence in the flow of your day. Heaven has chosen this exact moment, this precise turning of the clock, to release a divine current into your life, one that will set in motion a chain of events so astonishing that it will rewrite the very story you have been living. God says to you now, congratulations, for you stand on the threshold of a remarkable and surprising day, a day that will carry blessings so profound that you will look back and say, that was the moment everything changed. And yet, the Lord also warns with tenderness and firmness in His voice, open your heart to this message now, act upon it, for hesitation could cause the gates of this blessing to close, and with them, the preservation of the wealth and resources you have been entrusted with. This is not a message of fear, but of clarity. God reveals so that you can step forward without confusion, knowing exactly what to do. In the stillness of heaven this morning, before the first light touched the earth, the angels gathered in council. I saw Archangel Michael standing with his sword lowered, not in battle but in protection, circling your name in light. He whispered before the throne of the Almighty, Father, this is the day we have been preparing for them. Let nothing hinder the flow of your promise. And the Father nodded with a smile that carried both joy and urgency. His words were simple but carried eternal weight, tell them to open now. If they wait, the enemy will move to steal, kill, and destroy what is rightfully theirs. But if they trust me and act, not only will I preserve what they have, I will multiply it beyond their understanding. Beloved, the hour is delicate. There are forces you cannot see that have been circling, waiting for an opening in your focus, an instant of distraction, to insert confusion into your financial life, your opportunities, your stability. In the unseen realm, they have been trying to plant seeds of loss in the soil of your blessings. And yet, heaven has intervened. The reason you are reading this at this exact time is because the protection of the Lord is being extended to you like a shield of gold. God says, "I will be with you, and nothing will go wrong with you, for I am your strong tower, your safe place, your unfailing friend." But you must listen and not turn away. This day will not be like other days. The ordinary will bow to the extraordinary, and the mundane will give way to the miraculous. Something hidden will be revealed. A name, a document, a sudden piece of news, something you thought had nothing to do with you will suddenly shine with divine relevance. You will recognize it because your spirit will leap within you as though heaven whispered, "That's for you." But this is where your choice matters. You can lean into this message with faith, stepping where God is guiding you, or you can dismiss it as just another string of words. Yet I tell you with the authority of heaven, to ignore this would be to let the enemy steal the very thing that God positioned for you to receive today. I see a scene unfolding before me, a great ledger in the spiritual realm being opened by an angel clothed in silver. Your name appears in bold letters, and next to it are accounts, blessings, and inheritances that have been accumulating for years, even generations. Some of these treasures are not even from your own labor. They are gifts and provisions set aside by your ancestors' prayers, by covenants God made long before you were born. But today is the appointed release. The seal over this heavenly account is breaking, and the angel is reaching to transfer them into your life. Yet there is a hand in the shadows, reaching to close that book again before the blessings cross into your earthly reality. That is why God's voice carries such urgency. Open this now. Do not delay. The window will not remain open long. Child of God, your safety is assured when you walk in His instructions. He is not calling you into panic, but into precision. Prayer will be your anchor today. Speak to Him openly, even as you move through your daily responsibilities. Whisper His name in your heart. Declare aloud that no weapon formed against you will prosper, that every plan of loss will be overturned, that your resources will be protected, and that multiplication, not depletion, will be your portion. For what is coming is not merely a preservation of what you have, it is the enlargement of your territory, the expansion of your capacity, the doubling and tripling of opportunities that will place you in a position of influence and abundance. You will begin to notice signs, subtle confirmations from God that He is orchestrating the events of your day. A message, an unexpected encounter, a thought that feels like it came from nowhere, each of these will be threads in the tapestry of your breakthrough. Some will feel almost too coincidental to be real, but that is precisely the beauty of divine timing. It disguises the miraculous in the cloak of the ordinary until the moment of revelation. And when the revelation comes, you will see how every step, every delay, every closed door, and every open one was working toward this very hour. I must also tell you this, beloved, there will be distractions today, subtle attempts to draw your focus away from the guidance you are receiving. This may come in the form of sudden demands on your time, small irritations, or even doubts whispering that you are imagining all of this. Recognize these for what they are. They are the enemy's last effort to cause you to miss your moment. When you sense this, pause and pray, even if only for a few seconds. Call on the name of Jesus, and the distraction will lose its power over you. God's promise to you is steadfast. You are safe. You are mine. I will be with you. There is no scheme so cunning, no adversary so strong, that can overpower the hand of the Almighty stretched out over your life. Even now, angels are stationed around you, not only to guard your body and soul, but to protect the spiritual inheritance being delivered into your hands. You will not lose what is yours, not if you trust, not if you act in faith. The blessing is not just financial, it will touch relationships, health, opportunities, and even the hidden desires of your heart that you have never spoken aloud. Before the day ends, you will have a moment where you feel a shift inside, as though something heavy has lifted off you. This is the spiritual burden of uncertainty being replaced by the certainty of God's provision. When that happens, take a moment to thank Him. Gratitude will seal the blessing and guard it from being uprooted. Speak it aloud, Lord, I receive this day's blessing fully. I will not lose it. I will not delay. I trust you with all that I have and all that I am. The path forward is illuminated for you now. Do not doubt. Do not fear. Do not delay. Today is the day of your surprising breakthrough, the day heaven has scheduled for your increase. Open it now, for the timing is perfect, the blessing is ready, and the God who loves you with an everlasting love is standing right beside you, ensuring that nothing will go wrong, that you are safe, and that your trust in Him will be rewarded beyond measure. Beloved child of God, let your heart be still for a moment as these words wash over you. The Lord's voice is not rushing, it is steady, rich, and filled with both joy and urgency. He says to you again, congratulations, for you are stepping into a divine appointment today that was written in your life's book long before you took your first breath. The scrolls of heaven record not only your birth and every moment thereafter, but also the appointed seasons of favor and restoration. And right now, one of those appointed seasons has opened above you like a door swinging wide. What comes next will not be an accident, and it will not be small, it will be a turning point. In the courts of heaven this morning, there was movement unlike usual days. Angels were carrying bundles of sealed envelopes, heavenly decrees assigned to specific names. Your name, beloved, was on one of the brightest envelopes, sealed in gold wax bearing the imprint of the King's own signet. This is no ordinary message. It contains the authority of God Himself over matters in your life that have been contested in the spiritual realm. The decree inside speaks of restoration, multiplication, and divine reversal. What the enemy thought he could steal is being forcibly taken back by heavenly order and placed securely in your hands. But here is where the urgency lies. Spiritual decrees must be opened and acknowledged in faith before they manifest fully in the natural world. If you turn away from this, if you delay in responding to the whisper of the Spirit, the enemy's lawyers, those accusers of the brethren, will seek to delay or even block the execution of the order. This is why God says, "Open it now." If you wait, you risk losing not just the blessing, but even what you have. But if you open it now, I will protect all that belongs to you and increase it. The Spirit reveals to me a vision. You are standing in a great hall, its floor made of transparent gold, light shimmering through it from an endless source below. Before you is a long table, and upon it are treasures wrapped in cloth, each bearing your initials. These treasures are not all material. Some are opportunities, some are reconciled relationships, some are inner healings you have longed for but could never achieve on your own. But in the shadowed edges of this hall, there are figures watching, waiting for a moment to snatch these gifts before you take hold of them. Their eyes are sharp with envy, and their hands twitch with greed. One of them whispers, if they don't claim it quickly, it's ours to take. Yet in that same moment, I see Archangel Michael step forward, his wings unfurled in such radiant light that the shadows scatter. He places his sword point down into the floor, and the sound reverberates like thunder. He turns to you and says, "This day is your inheritance. Do not doubt. Do not delay. The King's decree is sealed for you. Reach out, take it, speak it, and it will be done. The enemy's time to take from you is over." Beloved, today carries a divine collision of opportunity. And protection. God is not just shielding you from loss, He is actively delivering what is yours. And I hear Him say, "This is the day your tables turn." That phrase is heavy with spiritual weight. It means that situations where you were once in the weaker position will shift so that you stand in strength, favor, and authority. It means those who underestimated you will have to witness your elevation. It means debts, both literal and symbolic, will be repaid, and the scales of justice will tilt in your favor. But here is the sacred truth you must remember: blessings come with responsibility. The abundance arriving today is not meant for careless use. God is placing resources, influence, and favor in your hands because He trusts you to use them in alignment with His purpose. The reason the enemy tries so hard to take from you is because he fears what will happen when you steward your blessings under God's direction. You will advance his kingdom, and that is what the enemy cannot stand. So how do you open this blessing in faith? First, you acknowledge that it is yours. Speak it aloud, even if you are alone. Lord, I receive this blessing you have appointed for today. I claim the full measure of it. I will not lose it. I will not delay. This verbal agreement is like signing your name to the decree in the spirit realm. It signals to heaven and hell alike that you are in agreement with what God has spoken. Second, act in trust today. When you sense God prompting you toward a specific action, follow through. It may be reaching out to a certain person, checking a particular message, reviewing a document, or even visiting a place you've been avoiding. The blessing may be hidden in one of these small steps, waiting to be uncovered. Throughout this day, watch for signs of confirmation. Heaven has a way of leaving breadcrumbs for the faithful to follow. You may notice repeating numbers, hear a particular phrase more than once, or encounter a situation that feels strangely familiar yet filled with peace. These are God's way of saying, yes, you're on the right path. Keep going. And when you see them, whisper your thanks to Him. Gratitude keeps the flow of blessing open and untainted. I must also share this warning from the Lord. There is a spirit of distraction hovering nearby, trying to plant seeds of doubt in your mind. It will try to convince you that nothing unusual is happening, that today is just another ordinary day, that these words are coincidence. Do not believe it. The enemy knows that faith unlocks the storehouse, so he tries to keep you from turning the key. If you feel doubt creeping in, stop, breathe, and say, I trust you, Lord. I receive what you have for me. This simple act is like slamming a door in the enemy's face. And remember, God says, nothing will go wrong with you, for I am with you. This promise is not dependent on your circumstances looking perfect, it is rooted in His nature. He is faithful, He is strong, and He does not abandon His children. Even if storms appear around you, they will not touch the treasure He has placed in your care. You will see His hand moving in ways that even skeptics around you cannot deny. Before the night falls, you will have a moment where something inside you shifts, a weight lifts, a sense of clarity arrives, or a sudden peace fills you without explanation. That is your sign that the blessing has been released in the natural realm. When that moment comes, take a breath, smile, and thank Him again, for it means the heavenly decree has been executed. Beloved, you are walking under open heavens today. The very atmosphere around you is charged with favor, provision, and divine orchestration. Open it now, for the day will not wait, and the blessings are ready. Your Father delights in giving good gifts to His children, and today, you will taste and see His goodness in ways you have not before. Trust Him. Follow His promptings. Guard your heart from distraction. And know that you are safe in His hands, and the surprising day He promised will unfold with beauty, power, and joy. Beloved child of God, the heavens are not silent over you in this hour. I feel the weight of this message pressing to be poured out completely, for the Lord is not giving a light drizzle of blessing today, but a full outpouring, like rain on parched land that has waited for years to drink again. This is why He says, "Congratulations," with such conviction, because He already sees the outcome of today for you. Where you might only see uncertainty or wonder, He sees a completed victory, a chain of events set in motion to protect, restore, and multiply everything that concerns you. Even before your eyes opened this morning, there were movements in the unseen. The angels assigned to you were not resting, they were at work. Some guarded you from harm you never even knew approached, harm that tried to creep in silently. Others were preparing the ground ahead of you, ensuring that when you step into your day, there are encounters, opportunities, and divine alignments waiting exactly where they should be. And Archangel Michael, who stands as your fierce protector, remained close at your right hand. His eyes scan the spiritual horizon for any attempt to intercept your blessing, and his sword is ready to strike down whatever dares to come near it. In a vision, I see a giant scroll unrolled in the throne room of God. Upon it is written your name in glowing letters, and beneath it is a single sentence that makes all of heaven rejoice. Today, my child steps into their appointed surprise. The words themselves radiate light, and every angel that reads them nods with joy, as though this was long awaited. But next to the scroll, I also see a smaller parchment, one marked by the shadow of a dark hand. This parchment contains accusations, attempts by the enemy to convince the courts of heaven that you should not receive what is coming. The voice of the accuser hisses, "They have not been faithful enough. They have doubted. They are not worthy of this measure of blessing." Yet before the accuser can finish, the Lord raises His hand and silences him with a single word, "Enough." And then He says, "They are mine. My righteousness covers them. My covenant with them stands." In that moment, the smaller parchment crumbles into dust, blown away by a breeze that smells of fresh rain and flowers. What the enemy meant to use against you has been completely erased.